Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. As you guys can see up on the screen today, I wanted to talk a little bit about Bwipo because to me, this guy has had a very interesting year, starting out as a Fnatic top laner, having a really rough spring split, swapping over to jungle in the midst of all this kind of roster craziness in both the LCS and the LEC. We saw crazy role swaps, crazy roster moves, a lot of questionable roster moves, but honestly, one of them that worked out pretty decently was Bwipo going to jungle. He played better, Fnatic did better, and overall, it seemed like it worked pretty decently. Now, you know, Bwipo's only been a jungler for one split, so he definitely can still be rough around the edges at points. He can still make some silly mistakes. He's still not playing like a super seasoned jungler, but it was pretty good. And now all of a sudden people are wondering, what's the future in store for this guy? You know, is he going to be Fnatic's jungler for the time being? But another interesting question is, could he leave? Could he go be somebody else's jungler? And would he be a prize free agent? That'd be kind of interesting. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video today. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this. I would appreciate it so much. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. And consider checking out my Patreon. Patreon.com/IamGerm, where I'm going to be recording and putting up my weekly podcast, Beyond the Rift. And it's also going to be live streamed every single Monday on YouTube. But if you can't catch it live, check it out on Patreon. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, there has been a ton of talk about junglers in this coming offseason. We've talked about Blabber, whether he's going to be on Cloud9 or whether they're going to be moving on from him. We've talked about Jankos in G2 and whether or not they're going to be moving on from him or he's going to be sold off or he's going to retire. We've talked a little bit about Selfmade as well as potentially the hottest free agent on the market in the West and what team he's going to end up on. What's he going to do? Is he going to go to NA? Is he going to find a spot in Europe? Is he going to end up on G2? But the big thing here is that Bwipo is kind of putting himself into the conversation as far as really hot free agents and a guy that's going to have a ton of possibilities open to him. I'm sure he is going to have an extension offered to him from Fnatic, but I'm sure he's also going to have a bunch of other options open to him as well. And he's really going to be able to do anything. He is a guy who could definitely get into content creation if he wanted. He's a guy who's been on the analyst desk and has been really good at that and probably has a career in that stuff locked up into the future if he wants. He's probably going to be able to play in Europe, and he's probably going to have the option to go secure a bag in the LCS as well. So when we look at the LEC contract database, we can actually pop in Bwipo real quick and see that he's about to be a free agent. November 15th, 2021. This is his last split under contract with Fnatic. And the interesting thing here is we know he is pretty good friends with Hylissang. We know that they have kind of been a package deal for a while. Hylissang also set to be a free agent. Bwipo has not signed an extension with Fnatic. Hylissang has not signed an extension with Fnatic. And Hylissang was a free agent last year, and he decided to come back on just a one-year deal. Now, some of this could be because they wanted to see how Fnatic was going to do this year. They wanted to feel things out. We know it was a whole new Fnatic, getting rid of Nemesis, moving on from Reckless, all of that stuff. But there is also some rumors that maybe Hylissang is considering retirement. Maybe Bwipo is considering retirement. Maybe Bwipo's heading to North America like I talked about earlier. But again, he is going to be a free agent, and he has played well enough in the jungle this year to all of a sudden become a pretty interesting free agent. And, you know, Fnatic looked good in the summer split, so most people would say, oh, they're probably going to try and bring a lot of their same team back, but they're probably not going to make Worlds, right? So even after having a much better summer split, they're still probably going to come up a little bit short this year. That's going to feel bad for the organization. That's going to feel bad for the team. That's going to feel bad for the players, especially guys as competitive as Bwipo, as Hylissang, guys who want to be the absolute best. This is a team that was at Worlds last year. They were up 2-0 on Top Esports, and to go from that to maybe not even making it to Worlds the next year, that's got to sting a little bit. That's got to hurt. That's got to suck practicing all year just to, you know, kind of take a step back in terms of things, and Fnatic's going to be left in kind of a weird spot. I mean, if you look at the LEC playoffs, Fnatic has to run an absolute gauntlet. They do not get double elimination. They get one shot at this. They have to beat Vitality, who is a very beatable team. I think they should be able to handle them, but Vitality has some upset potential. If Selfmade, going up against his former team, decides to go crazy, he could definitely carry a playoff series. I think it is unlikely, but then after that, they're going to have to go up against Misfits if Misfits does lose to Rogue. And again, I think that's a very winnable series for Fnatic, but Misfits is a scary team. They definitely have the capability of pulling off some victories, if not an entire series win. And then finally, this last game, if Fnatic does win both of those, they will then have to play the loser of Mad Lions, who was the European MSI representative, who is the defending European champions, or G2, who is obviously G2, the however many time European champion in a row, the team that has just been here for so long, and they really want to go to Worlds as well, and they have a lot of firepower, and it seems like they would be a pretty good matchup against Fnatic. So Fnatic has a tough route. They don't have the kind of luxury of a double elimination that some of these other teams have. I think it's going to be tough. I do think Fnatic is, at least at this point, likely to come up short. Statistically, they are not like favorites to go to Worlds or anything like that. They are definitely behind the 8 ball. It doesn't mean it's impossible, but I'm just going based off what is kind of the most likely outcomes at this point. And again, I do think that would leave Fnatic in a weird spot where some of the players or even the team might want to make some changes for the future. They might want to try and get back to Worlds. They might want to try and shake some things up. And again, these rumors of Hylissang retiring could make all of this go crazy, because if Bwipo and Hylissang want to play together and Hylissang's not here, then Bwipo's options open up a lot. Now, in this world, I'm kind of thinking, what if Jankos decides to stay on G2? What if Jankos doesn't go over to North America? What if he doesn't go to another European team and he decides to play for G2 and G2 decides to keep him, not sell him off? He doesn't decide to retire, nothing like that. And then all of a sudden, I think 2 options over in North America. I think a ton of North American teams would be throwing a lot of money at him, but Cloud9, that team is going to keep coming up. If they decide to move on from Blabber, could Bwipo slide over to Cloud9? Would that make Cloud9 better? We just saw, Blabber go to MSI and really not have that good of a performance. And Blabber at his best is probably a better jungler than Bwipo, but we know Bwipo has been there in the big moments. We know he's been there internationally. We know he's had good performances. He is not a guy that we would expect to go to an MSI and choke, a guy that we would expect to go to a summer split or summer playoffs and whatever and choke, like Blabber has done kind of 2 years in a row now, and it would maybe be something interesting. Now, again, in this situation, in this scenario, Sven would have to be let go by Cloud9. They would have to sell him off. They would need to get some money. But this is a little bit more interesting for teams like Cloud9 and Team Liquid, because Bwipo is actually going to be a free agent. So where Jankos would need to be bought out by G2 probably for a lot of money, and then Jankos would need to be signed for a lot of money, Bwipo would actually be significantly cheaper. Now, I don't think Bwipo is at the level of jungler that Jankos is, but he's still pretty damn good. He's a very popular player. He would be exciting for fans. He would be an interesting move. And again, signing him as a free agent would be way cheaper. That also brings me over to Team Liquid. Again, if Core JJ is able to get his green card, Santorin is going to be a free agent. They would have an import slot open. They would have a jungle position open. What if Team Liquid went and got Bwipo? Again, we know Team Liquid loves those Europeans. They have Alphari, they have Jensen. If they slotted Bwipo into that spot, I think Santorin, when he's played, has been very, very good for the team. But again, he's had some issues. He's had health issues. He's been in and out of the lineup. I think Bwipo could do pretty similar things to what Santorin does for this team. Obviously, he's a little crazier than Santorin. He probably has a little bit different champion pool than Santorin. But again, this would be a cheaper relatively move for Team Liquid, since they wouldn't have to buy him out from Fnatic. It could be an awesome opportunity for Bwipo to play on a top team in North America, have an opportunity to go to Worlds, make a ton of money, and yeah, still get to kind of do everything he wants to do. I really think Team Liquid would be a great fit for Bwipo, and I think it would be a very, very interesting pairing and matchup. If he does decide to keep playing, if he does decide to keep jungling, if he does decide to move on from Fnatic, I don't know. I could see it happening, and I feel like not enough people are talking about this. This video actually got inspired by a comment I got the other day that was kind of asking me, why aren't more people talking about Bwipo as a free agent this offseason? And it just kind of got me thinking and got me excited. We could definitely see Bwipo headed to North America this offseason, and that'd be super fun. I'm here for it. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Tell me, drop a like if you do enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. What do you think Bwipo is going to be doing in 2022? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!